What's up, guys? So I knew eventually we would see something. I haven't really been paying much attention to YouTube and what videos people have been putting out, but for some reason I was looking at I was on a TikTok about a guy that was like cleaning a driveway, and it would take it where there was weeds everywhere, and he would clean it up, and he had a YouTube channel. So I went to his YouTube channel, and as soon as I was done watching that video, I swiped it down, and I looked, and I saw that Ron Hicklin had made a new video, literally just 21 minutes ago. Does wiping off your bowling ball matter for performance? So if you haven't gone and seen this video, go watch the video. I agree with a lot of the things that Ron says about bowling balls and all that stuff. This is just one of those topics that I think are a little deceiving when it comes to bowling ball reaction and stuff. Basically what he does is he takes a venom shot, and he's got Dustin throwing 4, 5, 6 shots, wiping it off each time, and each time it's hooking. He visually shows the oil coming off of the ball. And then one of the times he throws the shot, lets the ball sit there. He's kind of talking. You can see the oil soaking into the ball, into the cover stock. And then he goes and throws it, and it still hooks, and it strikes. Then he doesn't wipe it off at all, and he goes and throws another shot, and it comes in behind the head pin, and it's late. It doesn't hook as much. And he's like, see, that's exactly why you have to wipe your ball off. And I actually say that is the opposite. That is exactly why you don't want to wipe your ball off. But this is just me. This is just my opinion. And here's why. He says, if you're wiping the ball off before each shot, you are getting that oil off of there, and you're going to see a more consistent reaction. I agree if you're rapid fire throwing shots, because you have the ability to get the oil off of the ball immediately. Here's the problem. When you go and throw a shot and you strike and you come back during league or a tournament or something, that ball goes through the ball return all the way back and then sits on that rack until you're up again. And you've seen how quick the oil absorbs in that ball, and that's that's not a very strong cover. Imagine it being like an Envy or a super strong cover where it's super absorbent. That ball's already absorbing oil on its way back, and then as it sits on that rack, how many times have you seen a bowling ball where there's no oil rings on the ball once you go and bowl again? That's because the oil's already soaked up. So it doesn't matter if you wipe it off at that point. It's already soaked that oil up, and it's going to affect the reaction of that ball. So you got to be careful with this. That's why I say I don't wipe bowling balls off anymore. Because I don't want it to hook early, but that bowling ball surface is changing time after time after time. So if you throw a shot when the fresh surface is fresh at 2000, you come bring it back, you wipe it off. Say that then brings this. It's still going to change the surface because you're smearing a little bit of oil. I don't care what anybody says. No towel, no absorbing towel. None of it is going to get oil completely off again because it's absorbing oil on its way back, and it's being smeared from the ball return and everything else. So then you test the surface. I bet you it's a little bit higher. And then you wipe it off again. The next shot, it's a little bit higher. And it's going to gradually get higher and higher each time you throw that ball. And wiping it, so it goes up, you wipe it, say it gets up to like 2,400, you wipe it, it takes it back down to 22. You throw a shot, it comes back, it's at 2,700, you wipe it, now it's at 2,400. I promise you that's the way it goes, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. So now basically every shot has a different surface on it. Whereas if you go through practice, you don't wipe your ball off, you've got oil on the ball, it's sitting on the ball, you're going to have that more, in my opinion, more consistent type of ball reaction every time. Might be, and this is just maybe a tool that you can use for combating certain situations. Like, if you're on a completely fresh surface or completely fresh condition where they're tough and you need more friction, wiping the ball off probably makes sense, especially if it's a urethane ball. It probably makes sense to wipe the ball off a lot. But I think this is just information that we just need to be careful with because, maybe Ron can prove me wrong. Maybe he can show that a bowling ball actually keeps the surface, after wiping it off each time, and that, that the 4 minutes in between shots doesn't make that big a difference as long as you wipe the ball off. I don't know. I don't believe that it does. I think to me, it makes sense that a little bit of oil would be absorbing into that cover stock and would be changing that surface shot after shot, whether you're wiping the ball off or not. I think I would much rather leave the oil on there to make it get to that max surface of whatever it's going to be quicker, so that way it's consistent from shot to shot. Because once it gets to a certain point, it's not going to, once it gets to 4,000, 5,000, it's not going to eventually get to 6,000, 7,000. It's not going to keep getting higher and higher. It's just not how it works. It's going to get to a stabilized point, like he showed in the very beginning. It's going to get to a stable point, and be more consistent, at least the way I see it. I mean, I could be wrong about this whole thing, but I just remember that tournament I went to where I was wiping the ball off and I was getting a different shot, a different reaction every time, and all of a sudden I said, screw this, I got to figure out a way to get the ball to be cleaner through the front. So I just stopped wiping the ball off, left the oil on, and all of a sudden I'm shooting 760 the next 3, and my ball's clean through the front. It's consistently reacting down lane, all of that stuff. So I think maybe it's just condition based. It's time to time. It's going to be depending on what you're bowling on and what you're looking for. Do you need a ball to be cleaner? Do you need it to be hooking more? I think a lot of the times on fresh conditions, maybe on league conditions, maybe you do want to be wiping your ball off every time, so that way you get a stronger hook each shot. I'm not really sure. I couldn't tell you. It depends on you. So just be careful with all this information, and go watch his video if you can, because that gives you the information. It kind of shows pretty obvious, how much the oil actually affects a bowling ball, and maybe it'll help you make a decision on whether you should be wiping your ball off or shouldn't be wiping your ball off. I'm not sure, but anyway, I just kind of wanted to chat about that a little bit. So I'm going to get out of here, and we will see you guys later.